Are past heartaches still weighing heavily, dimming the potential for joy in your present moments? What if you could gently release them, uncovering a serene path to profound peace in this precious chapter of life? Are you ready to discover the secret to profound peace after 60? My dear friends, greetings to you. I see you there, perhaps sitting in your favorite chair, a quiet moment carved out of your day. Maybe a cup of tea is warming your hands, or perhaps the morning sun is gently touching your face. In these golden years, many of you find yourselves with more time, a quieter pace, a chance to reflect on the journey you have traveled. It is a beautiful and precious time, isn't it? A time when the hurried demands of life might have lessened, allowing space for deeper contemplation. Yet this newfound stillness can sometimes bring forth not just tranquility, but also echoes from the past. Have you ever felt this? That even when the world around you is calm, an old memory, a past hurt, a regret can stir within, creating a ripple in your inner peace? It is a common human experience, one that transcends age or circumstance. As a monk, I have spent many years observing the human heart, its capacity for great joy, and its tendency to cling to what causes it pain. Sometimes, these pains are like tiny pebbles we've collected along our life's journey. At first, they seem insignificant, perhaps even beautiful in their uniqueness. But over time, as we carry more and more, our pockets grow heavy, our shoulders ache, and the burden becomes undeniable. Do you sometimes wonder why certain memories hold such power over you, even decades later? Why a particular word, a distant slight, or a missed opportunity can still bring a pang to your heart? The Buddha, with his profound wisdom, taught us much about the nature of suffering and, more importantly, the path to release it. He did not teach us to ignore our pain or pretend it does not exist. Instead, he showed us how to look at it, understand it, and gently let it go. And this wisdom, my friends, is not ancient theory. It is a living truth, as relevant today as it was centuries ago, and particularly potent for those of you now in the richness of your later years. What if this stage of life, with its deepened perspective, is not an ending, but a beautiful opportunity to shed those heavy burdens and walk forward with a lightness you haven't felt in years? Let me share a story, a simple parable that has illuminated many hearts. It tells of two monks, young and earnest, who are traveling together. They came to a river, swollen by recent rains, and saw an elderly woman struggling to cross. She was hesitant, her garments clearly unsuitable for the muddy waters. Without a moment's thought, the elder monk gently lifted her onto his back, carried her across the swirling river, and set her down safely on the other side. The woman, full of gratitude, bowed deeply, and the two monks continued their journey. They walked in silence for many hours. The younger monk, however, grew increasingly agitated. Finally, unable to hold it in any longer, he burst out, "Brother, we monks are not permitted to touch women. How could you carry that woman on your back?" The elder monk stopped, turned to him with a serene smile, and said, "My dear brother, I set that woman down by the river many hours ago. Are you still carrying her?" Pause for a moment and let that question gently resonate within your own heart. Are you still carrying her? How many women's or men or situations do we carry long after we have crossed the river? Think of those moments that still replay in your mind. Perhaps a harsh word spoken to you years ago, a perceived injustice, a moment of betrayal from a friend, or even a disappointment with yourself. The event itself passed, like the river's current. The moment of hurt, the moment of anger, the moment of sadness, they are all in the past. Yet, we often continue to carry the emotional weight of them, sometimes for days, weeks, or even decades. Do you find yourself doing this? Replaying old arguments in your head, imagining different outcomes, or feeling the sting of a slight as if it just happened? This, my dear ones, is the burden we unconsciously choose to carry. The teaching here is not to forget the past, nor to deny that painful things happened. It is simply to recognize that holding on to the pain, the anger, the resentment, the regret is a choice we often make without even realizing it. We think we are holding on to justice or holding on to the memory of what was, but in truth, we are holding on to the very thing that prevents our hearts from finding peace today. It's like grasping a hot coal, believing you are hurting the person who gave it to you, but the only one getting burned is yourself. In this stage of life, as the pace slows, these internal burdens can feel even heavier. There might be more time for reflection, for memories to surface. And sometimes, these reflections can become a source of renewed sorrow if we don't learn how to gently acknowledge them and then truly let them go. Perhaps you've experienced loss, the passing of loved ones, the changing landscape of friendships, or even the loss of a former identity from your career. These are profound experiences, and grief is a natural, necessary process. But even within grief, there is a point where holding on to sorrow out of a sense of loyalty, or out of a fear of forgetting, can transition into a burden that dims the remaining light of your days. What if truly letting go of the pain, not the love, could honor those memories even more profoundly? Allow me to share another perspective, one that speaks to the nature of our attachments. Imagine a vast, open sky. Within this sky, clouds drift by, sometimes dark and stormy, sometimes light and fluffy, sometimes tinged with the colors of sunset. These clouds are like our thoughts, our emotions, our memories. They come and they go. They are part of the sky, but they are not the sky itself. Our true nature, our deepest self, is like the boundless sky, unchanging, vast, and always present, regardless of what clouds pass through it. But sometimes, we forget we are the sky. We identify with a particular cloud, perhaps a dark cloud of regret or a stormy cloud of anger. We chase it, we cling to it, we become it. And when we do, we forget the vast, open space of our own being. The wisdom of letting go is about remembering that you are the sky. It's about learning to watch the clouds of memory and emotion drift by, acknowledging their presence, but not attaching yourself to them, not inviting them to settle permanently within your heart. This is not about being indifferent. It is about discerning what serves your peace and what hinders it. This is not an easy practice. It requires gentleness, patience, and a deep well of self-compassion. Many years ago, a student came to me, burdened by the memory of a harsh critique from a former colleague decades earlier. He had achieved great success in his field, far surpassing this colleague, yet that one critical remark still gnawed at him. He felt as if he constantly had to prove himself, even to people who had no idea of this old slight. I listened patiently as he recounted the story, his voice filled with residual bitterness. "Tell me," I asked him gently, "when you carry this bitterness, who is it truly harming?" He paused, looking perplexed. "It harms him, of course," he declared. "He gets away with it, but I remember." I smiled softly. "Does he know you remember? Does he feel your bitterness today?" The student admitted he had not seen or spoken to the man in decades. "Then," I continued, "this bitterness you carry, this burden of resentment, it exists only within your own heart. It is like a poison you drink, hoping the other person will be harmed. That phrase, a poison you drink, hoping the other person will be harmed, is a powerful one. It reveals the essence of why letting go is so vital, not for the sake of the person who caused the hurt, but for our own liberation. Forgiveness, in the Buddhist sense, is not about condoning wrongdoing or forgetting injustice. It is a profound act of self-love, a release from the grip of resentment. It is recognizing that the past cannot be changed, but our present experience of it can. We can choose to be free from its ongoing influence. Have you ever considered forgiveness in this light? Not as a gift to another, but as a priceless gift to your own weary heart? And what about forgiving ourselves? In these reflective years, many thoughts arise about paths not taken, decisions made that we now regret, or words spoken in haste. The inner critic can be a relentless companion. If only I had done this, or why didn't I say that? These thoughts are like tiny hooks that snag our peace. Can you offer yourself the same compassion, the same understanding that you would offer to a dear friend who confided similar regrets to you? We are all imperfect beings, navigating life with the best understanding we had at the time. What if we could offer ourselves a gentle, expansive space where past mistakes are simply lessons learned, not eternal chains? This self-forgiveness is a powerful balm for the soul, allowing us to release the burden of self-judgment and step into the present moment with a lighter heart. Let me tell you about a simple practice, a way to visualize this letting go. Imagine you are standing by a beautiful, clear stream. You have in your hand a small stone, perhaps one you picked up from a garden. This stone represents a particular hurt, a regret, a piece of resentment you have been carrying. Feel its weight in your palm. Acknowledge it. You don't need to push it away or deny it. Just notice it. Then, with an intention to release it, to free yourself from its burden, gently place the stone in the flowing water. Watch as the current carries it away, swirling it downstream, eventually out of sight. It is gone. The stream continues to flow, clean and clear. You might need to do this practice with many stones. Some might be large, deeply etched with history. Others might be tiny pebbles, almost forgotten, yet still contributing to the overall weight. The beauty of this practice is that you are not denying the existence of the stone, nor are you erasing the memory of how you acquired it. You are simply choosing not to carry it anymore. You are choosing freedom over burden. This is the profound power of intentional letting go. This stage of life, my friends, offers a unique invitation to embrace such practices. The constant striving and external pressures of earlier years often leave little room for this kind of deep inner work. Now, perhaps, there is a little more space, a little more time. What if this is precisely what these golden years are for? Not just for leisure, but for liberation. To cultivate an inner garden where peace, not weeds of old sorrow, flourishes. Consider the story of an old gardener I once knew. He had spent his entire life tending to a magnificent garden. In his youth, he would meticulously pull every single weed, striving for perfection. He would worry constantly about blight, about pests, about the rain, or the lack thereof. He often appeared stressed, though his garden was always beautiful. As he grew older, his pace slowed. He still cared for his garden, but something shifted. He no longer raged at the weeds. He simply noticed them and pulled them with a gentle hand, if they were truly harming a precious plant. He spent more time simply observing, appreciating the beauty, the delicate dance of butterflies, the scent of the blossoms. He realized that a garden, like life, is never perfectly still or perfectly controlled. It is a living, breathing thing, always changing. He learned to trust the process, to do what he could, and to let go of the rest. He found a profound peace in this acceptance, a serenity that had eluded him in his younger, more frantic years. His garden continued to thrive, perhaps even more so, because it was now tended with love and acceptance, not with worry and control. Our hearts are much like this garden. We can choose to spend our days frantically pulling at every perceived imperfection, every lingering memory, every what if, and every if only. Or we can choose to tend our hearts with gentle awareness, nurturing what brings joy and peace, and gently releasing what no longer serves us. This letting go is deeply intertwined with acceptance. Acceptance not of defeat, but of reality. The reality that change is the only constant. Our bodies change, our roles change, the world around us changes. Resisting these changes can be a source of immense suffering. Why isn't it like it used to be? I can't do what I once did. These thoughts are natural, but when we cling to them, they become heavy chains. What if, instead, we could greet each change with a spirit of gentle curiosity, asking, what new lesson can this teach me? What new possibility does this open? For example, perhaps you find yourself with less physical mobility than you once had. Instead of focusing solely on what has been lost, can you redirect your energy? Perhaps this means more time for reading, for gentle contemplation, for creative pursuits you once put aside. Can you accept this new reality not as a limitation, but as an invitation to explore different dimensions of your being? This is the power of acceptance. It frees us from the futile struggle against what is, and opens the door to discovering new forms of contentment and joy. The wisdom of the Buddha encourages us to find joy in the present moment, for it is the only moment we truly have. Past is gone, future is not yet here. Only this breath, this sight, this sound, this feeling. When we carry the burdens of the past, we are not fully present. Our minds are elsewhere, trapped in a replay of old hurts or old regrets. And when we are not present, we miss the quiet beauty unfolding right before us. The warmth of the sun, the laughter of a grandchild, the simple taste of a meal, the quiet comfort of our home. Letting go of what hurts us allows us to open our senses, to taste, touch, see, hear, and feel the richness of this very moment. It is a gift we give ourselves, a pathway to truly living, vibrantly and fully, regardless of our age or circumstances. It is saying, yes, I acknowledge what was, but I choose to dwell in the sacred now. Consider a final story, a parable of the empty cup. A scholar, full of his own knowledge and opinions, came to a wise Zen master seeking wisdom. The master listened patiently to the scholar's endless discourses about his theories and philosophies. After a while, the master began to pour tea for them both. He poured the tea into the scholar's cup until it was full, and then he continued to pour until the tea was overflowing from the cup and spilling onto the table. The scholar cried out, "It's full. No more will go in." The master stopped pouring, looked at the scholar, and said, "Just like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you wisdom unless you first empty your cup?" This story, my friends, holds a profound truth for us as we seek to let go. Our cups are often full of old narratives, old pains, old ways of seeing ourselves and the world. To receive the fresh wisdom, the new experiences, the peace that awaits us, we must first be willing to empty our cups, to set down those old stories that no longer serve us, to release the grip of resentment, the weight of regret, the burden of unfulfilled expectations. This emptying is not a loss. It is an act of creation, creating space for something new, something beautiful, something profoundly peaceful to enter. So, how do we begin to empty our cups, to gently release what hurts us? It starts with awareness, simply noticing when an old pain surfaces. Instead of immediately engaging with it or pushing it away, can you simply observe it, like watching a cloud drift by? Acknowledge its presence. Perhaps gently say to yourself, "Ah, this is that old feeling of disappointment," or "Here is that memory of what was said." And then, without judgment, gently remind yourself, "I am choosing to release this now." This is not a one-time event, my friends. It is a practice, a gentle, ongoing practice. Like tending to a garden, you might find new weeds appearing. But with practice, you will develop the wisdom to recognize them earlier and the skill to release them more gently before they take deep root and overwhelm your inner landscape. In your quiet moments, perhaps before you sleep or as you awaken, take a few deep, conscious breaths. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Allow your mind to settle. And then ask yourself, What one burden, what one hurt, what one old story can I gently place down today? You don't need to force it. Simply invite the intention to release. Imagine that burden dissolving, like mist in the morning sun, or floating away like that stone in the stream. This process of letting go is the truest act of self-care you can offer yourself in these precious years. It is an act of profound courage and deep wisdom. It is a pathway to reclaiming your joy, your serenity, and your freedom. Imagine the lightness you will feel, the spaciousness in your heart, the newfound energy for the present moment. This is not a distant dream. It is an attainable reality, one breath, one gentle release at a time. May your heart be filled with ease. May you be free from suffering. May you know deep peace. The journey of life is a precious gift. May your remaining years be filled with a lightness of being, a profound peace, and an abundance of gentle joy. Step forward, my dear friends, with an open heart, ready to embrace the boundless peace that is your true nature.